Hi everyone, Dr. Brad here. In this brief video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use one of my favorite apps on the market, EliteHRV, to do what I do with patients in private practice, heart rate variability, resonant frequency breathing. So let's take a look. So hi everyone. I'm going to be showing you how to use, as I said, my favorite app, EliteHRV, for the recording of heart rate variability, resonant frequency, biofeedback training. Now, EliteHRV was originally designed with athletes in mind. What you would do is something called your morning readiness score, to help athletes know if they were overtraining and just the state of their overall health. You would take your morning HRV reading for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes every morning at the same time of day. After you do this for a number of days, 6 days, and according to some apps, you might even do it longer than that, almost a month, you get your baseline, or also something called a coefficient of variation. This allows you to compare your reading each day with the baseline to determine if there's any change. Now, that is not the subject of this video. This is designed for individuals who've been working with me doing heart rate variability biofeedback training. And I want to show you how you can use this app to do some of that training and see some data while you're going. So, first, I'm going to invite you to click, if you get EliteHRV, which is free, and you need to connect it to a sensor. And let me just show you at the moment, you can connect it to a polar heart strap. This is my polar heart strap 7. And a polar heart strap is an ECG device. It's an electrocardiogram, basically. You can see these two areas right here. This is our 2-lead ECG, which is also called passive electrical. So EliteHRV connects with a polar heart strap, or other heart straps as well. And I'm currently wearing my polar heart strap 10 for this demonstration. But EliteHRV also created their own device called a photoplethysmograph, a PPG. And it is a light source. You shine a light through the blood vessels. You put your finger in there and it shines a light through the blood vessels. And it measures how much blood flows through the vessels at any given time. And when the heart beats, there's going to be an excess, an increase in the blood volume in the capillaries, in the vascular system. And that is what determines our heartbeat. So this is one device. The benefit, the beauty of their CoreSensor is it's Bluetooth enabled and you can just put your finger in. Now, I've talked to a number of my clients and patients and myself who had some issues with the readings, but it's a very easy, non-invasive way. The polar heart strap, which I must admit, I do prefer the polar heart strap. I think that the signal is clearer, it's cleaner. But if you're taking your morning reading, that requires you to get up, move your body, put the polar heart strap on. For the purposes of what we're going to be doing, HRV training, you can keep it on. So let's go back to this. Then you hit the 3 buttons at the bottom of the screen on your phone or your pad. We're going to scroll down and you can see Connect HRV. Now I'm already connected to my polar heart strap 10. I'm also wearing my Whoop and I'm wearing my Aura ring and all of those other things, but we're just going to use the polar heart strap. So once you find that, you connect that, you select that and hit done. Now, what we're going to be doing is pacing our breath. We're pacing our breath at our resonant frequency. The resonant frequency in biofeedback is that ideal breathing rate that strengthens, it exercises our vagus nerve, our parasympathetic system. It strengthens it. So in order to breathe this way, we're breathing between 4.5 to 8 breaths per minute. So on average, I recommend 6 breaths per minute. And this is what a lot of the research studies do. They don't find your particular ideal rate. they'll just use 6 breaths per minute. And that's a 10-second cycle. And I'll get to that in a minute. So let's go to reading options. Well, we want to make sure that we're connected to our HRV monitor, and we want to have the live HRV checked. Well, we want to have the live HRV checked. We can have the live chart on. And I am going to scroll down to breathing guide. I want the breathing pacer to be there on the app. Now, I am going to hit advanced breathing mode. I just said the ideal breathing rate is between 4.5 to 8 breaths per minute, and we can pick 6. 6 breaths per minute. That's a 10-second cycle. Some data suggests people prefer a 40-60 ratio. And what that would then be 4 seconds in, and you just slide the inhalation duration, and 6 seconds out. That would be the exhale duration. And that would give you a 40-60 ratio. Now, if you've worked with me and we have found your ideal resonant frequency, we could use that instead. And I happen to know that mine is a 5 breaths per minute cycle. That's a 12-second cycle. And so that would be 5 seconds on the inhale and 7 seconds on the exhale. And so we'll just use that. Scroll down a little bit, and I am not going to have the audio on. I'm not going to have any pauses on. And I am going to do a stabilization period of at least 20 seconds. And this just means that it gives you time to prepare before it makes a recording. So once you've selected all of that, we're not using the morning readiness, so that doesn't matter at this moment. I'm going to hit done. From here, I invite you to go to the plus sign in the bottom, and that's going to show you your options for recording, for reading. We're going to do an open reading. Now, as you can see, up at the top, it's connecting to my polar heart strap. Now it's connected. So once it's connected, I'm going to start to get this rolling HRV. I'm going to be able to see moment to moment what my heart rate is. Now, my heart rate is based on the space between my heartbeats. And in another video, I'm going to go into more depth what is heart rate variability. And you can watch that for reference. In the center here is my breath pacer, set at a 5-7 ratio. As it's green, this is telling me to inhale. And as it goes to blue, that's the exhale. And there is a little bit lag on the data, a little bit in time. But as you can see, you can barely see this here. There's numbers. This says 60, that says 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. That's my heart rate, moment to moment. So once we're ready, I'm going to hit start. Again, if you've done biofeedback training with me, you know that my recommendation is to do this 20 minutes twice a day. We do this 20 minutes twice a day to really strengthen our vagus nerve, strengthen our parasympathetic, strengthen something called the baroreceptors, so that our parasympathetic nervous system becomes stronger and more adaptable, more flexible. And that will have an impact on us throughout the rest of our day during times of stress. So let's hit start. I'm talking, and so you can see my heart rate's going up and down, and you'll see what happens when I start to breathe. I'm going to hit start, and there's going to be a stabilization period. And that was 20 seconds. I set that, but I'm going to start breathing now. And watch what happens to the hills and valleys here. I know this is a very exciting video to watch while you're having someone else follow this pacer. I'm talking on the exhale. So as I'm talking on the exhale, I am exhaling, and you can see that the heart rate slows down on the exhale. Speeds up on the inhale and it goes down on the exhale. Now it says finish because I've reached 1 minute. Of course, my recommendation to you is going to be doing this for 10, 15, 20 minutes twice a day. So you'll just let it go. It's still recording. But when we're done, and let me just show you, when we're done, we can hit finish. The nice thing about EliteHRV is it has tags. It gives you more metadata. So you could say, well, where was I? This made me more angry or upset, but actually it made me feel more peaceful, even that 1 minute recording. And what position am I in? I was sitting. And for the purposes of heart rate variability, resonant frequency breathing training, I do recommend sitting. If I want to add any of these other things, I could add my energy level. Well, my energy level went up now. Now I feel more energetic. And I can put in some other things. Again, it was designed for athletes and exercise. And then once I do, I hit save. Then it's calculating it. If there's any artifact, if there was any misfiring because of the polar heartstrap connectivity or the finger sensor, it will detect that. And it said that there was 0 artifact detected. And so that my signal was in the good zone. And here we can see my intra-reading chart. I can see this up and down level. That's my heart rate variability, and that is the type of variability we're trying to induce. The nice thing about EliteHRV is it gives me all the data, and for other apps, very good apps out there on the market, I like EliteHRV because I can see all the data that they're using to calculate. I don't want to have to extrapolate. I want to see it. So it's telling me all of this data, which if you're interested, I will talk about in other videos. I can get the time domains, which are very relevant, the root mean squared of successive differences, which is the one that's in particular more about our parasympathetic and vagal tone. It's less influenced by breathing and other things. EliteHRV, to calculate the HRV score that they give you up at the top here, HRV of 61, they're using a calculation based on the log of the root mean squared. So they take this number, 3.96, and multiply it by 15 to give you your HRV score. More importantly to me, if you're doing this biofeedback training, this breath training, is that we're looking at the frequency domains. Breathing at 6 breaths per minute is not the normal rate. Normal respiration rate is anywhere between 10 and 14 breaths per minute. So we're breathing in a very specific frequency, a very low frequency, 6 breaths per minute. That's 6 cycles within 1 minute, a 10-second cycle. This is considered low frequency. So if you ever do slow pace breathing when you're recording your heart rate variability, it's going to give you a skewed value. It's not going to be your normal breathing rate. So knowing that, I expect to see an increase in my low frequency power and a decrease in my high frequency power, which is going to change my LF-HF ratio. Now, you don't need to know that at the moment. Just know that that's what it's going to be detecting. When I've done pace breathing with other apps, it would tell me that I'm stressed because of these numbers. As long as you know that you're doing the pace breathing, you expect to see the low frequency power increase. So that's a little bit more than you need to know. What I want to show you is that when we hit see more from our chart reading, I can see this respiration rate. And as you can see, my heart rate went from 60 beats per minute up to almost 85, 80, 88, probably almost 90, and it went back down. So this is called the max min, between the heart rate variability max and the minimum number. And it's about 25. Pretty consistent. Now, this was only a minute reading. If I had done it longer, we would have more data to scroll. If you've been working with me in private practice and doing some training with this, we can sign up for an account. This is one of the benefits of EliteHRV, and I can receive your data the minute you're done once you hit save, and then we can discuss it in between sessions and training sessions. So for any athletes, for anybody working on heart rate variability training, and we don't have expensive biofeedback equipment at your disposal, this is a great option. Now, a polar heart strap will run you between $60 and $90, depending on which kind you get. You could also go on EliteHRV's website and find their CoreSensor. For the purposes of this training, if we're not doing the morning readiness, and that's in another video, what the morning readiness and daily heart rate variability score can mean and what it can suggest for your health. I'll talk about that elsewhere. But for this training, a polar heart strap will suffice. So I hope this was informational and was a good guide for you to get started in doing some paced breathing on your own. Really, I do recommend working with a coach and a trainer to just get you started, and that will be helpful in strengthening your parasympathetic system. So as with this and all videos, I hope this was informational. I hope this gave you some more insight about how to use a simple app on your phone or your tablet to do some heart rate variability biofeedback. Please feel free to reach out to me at drbrad@thebreathspace.com. And as always, may you go gently, knowing your goodness. Thank you so much.